Goddamn school bus.
Man, them bitches thought I was a race car driver. I go back there and pick them kids up. Some of the parents say, I don't know, I want my kid get on that bus or not. I'm coming in that bitch with that bitch to the bottom. I burned up about 2 tanks of gas a day. They fucked up when they told me, said, wherever you go, you take the bus with you. Shit, I be all on the block and everything with that motherfucker. You know, wherever I get in with some gas on them, I got that radio up there on the ass. Thump. Huh?
Come on, somebody. Pressure.
My city lit, niggas dropping full
pressure.
snapback. Betting on a bitch, dog, that's gonna be your setback. That plate ain't got no scales in it, that ain't no fish pack. Talk from the jump, you don't shit where you eat at. A bitch gon' be a bitch and I ain't tripping off no cat. Give her too much real, I bet she can't handle that. I'm focused on these plays like Ben Jarvis, I don't fumble packs. A different name in every state, gotta remember where I'm at. Getting blamed every day, bitch, I ain't got time for that. So what a metal girl house, that's where I be jugging at. About to make me call cuz, nigga need that pressure pack. In the cipher with the lifers, where I feel pressured at. Bro says shorty toxic, but niggas need that. She bouncing like hydraulics, ma. Got good kneecaps. Dripped her in designer, she swiped them bins and sacks. Put her on the leg.
Y'all can't hear it, but I can hear it.
Niggas switching sides, ain't even get the scoop yet. High niggas Fisher with the whistles, but don't blow that. You ever got close on the op and cop blowback? You never hit Poppy off at the store to boot packs. You know it came from Cali, cause they always send sale packs. You never had a older dog when you sealed it with a vat. In the trap, breaking pounds, dog bringing weight back. Every court date was like a bad dream, no cap. Watch bitches love the scheme, say that. Big nervous when broke niggas round me, all facts. Same niggas in my team, niggas mad the family back. Lost my dog and bitch, niggas saw John Wick.
Oh, just cut it like that. He didn't want to give all of it. That was Pressure by Loaded Dice. Fuck with a... I didn't want to say F with a rapper. Hashtag F with a rapper. Hashtag F as in Frank with a WITTA rapper. Sorry about that. Those links are going to be dropped. Anywho, that shit was hot. We love to big up local artists. We have one in the building. We're going to get to him in a second. But this Should Stop podcast, THISYOURSTOP podcast. Search it just like that on all social media platforms, but specifically, yes, I said it like the ocean, on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment, talk your ish. It's free. I swear to God, I'm Johnny Tsunami. Machine Gun Johnny, Johnny Leyenda, Boston Johnny. You can call me what you want, but you can't call me fake. And don't call me for fronts, because even if I do, I don't got it. And then we got a little medium.
You already know who it is. More importantly, get in tune to the podcast. You dig? That's where we need the love. So go there, subscribe, like. You know what I'm saying? And you know, look for everything we got coming. That was just Loaded Dice. You already know here, part of the pod. So you know, definitely run that up. You know what I'm saying? But today, more than any day. We got an author in the building. This ain't no rap shit. This ain't no nothing. This some real shit. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that y'all little raps don't be no real shit, but this some real shit.
Not little. Why they gotta be little raps?
Well, we gonna let him introduce himself. And then we gonna introduce the books and what he came and what he got going on.
Let's go.
Hey, where everybody been? I'm Jay Williams, author and CEO of CBM Publishing, man. Glad to be here on this Your Start podcast. As you know, man, listen, man, I got 3 books. I got Wrong Turn Right, Source of Information, and Fantasies of Passion. I'm right now probably in the mix of editing the part 2 of Fantasy of Passion. It's an exclusive book that all the ladies are taking to the bedroom. So, you know.
Just the ladies?
Definitely.
Well, you know, a lot of guys might be hiding them, but the ladies are buying them in the masses. So, you know, man, congratulations, man. Thanks to the ladies, man. So,
listen, the ladies are buying them. The brothers are reading them. Let me tell you.
The brothers have been basically supporting me my whole ride, man. But the ladies are 85% of my fan base, man. So I have to give love to, you know, where the credit's due.
Yes, thank you.
I seen that the other day when you did that, too, when you was like, yo, shout out to all the ladies of all race, you know, for rocking with me. I thought that was mad big, too.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Where can we find you?
So, you know, I'm on Facebook. I got about 5 pages, man. But Vacado Williams is my main page. You can find me at casualbusinessmoves.com. You know, my website. Go there, check out some exclusive interviews and everything. Vacado88 at IG. And you know, shit, man. You call me, see me, excuse me. You can see me locally, man. I'm everywhere in the hood, so you know.
He said what he said.
Come to a hood near you.
We're gonna drop those links
Get
as
them
well.
books to a hood near you.
Listen, when I say I ran through them,
She bust them shits down too. No bullshit.
just
you,
like
man. I
y'all
appreciate
brothers
it.
ran through.
No
I ran
bullshit.
through them like nobody's business.
Like 2 days, she was like, "Nah, I read all of them." Like, what the fuck?
Because we were like trading off, right? So I was like, I'll read one, we'll trade. I was like, well, I read both. Here, take them.
Wow, damn. Well,
Nah,
thank
she
you,
did. She
man. Well,
killed
you know,
that shit. Wow.
Listen, book
Wow.
club.
listen, man,
Wow, we
So,
still
you know,
passing them around.
most of my fan base is from word of mouth, man. So you know, it just when one person gets it, man, and they
you
spread they spread the love. That's how it goes, man. So I appreciate, man, you going through it. That means it was entertaining, and that's why everybody's been supporting. So
I'm
big
telling you.
Boston and
Definitely entertaining too. Definitely a book that I think Boston could stand on. You know what I'm saying? Not only give you that vibe of the '90s, but also, you know what I'm saying, give you that look. You know what I'm saying? I think I read a lot of books that they was talking about the right shit, but it didn't have the right.
It didn't.
You know what I'm saying?
Whatever this is, it didn't
It
have
wasn't
it.
something that touched me. Even when they were speaking on things you knew happened throughout time, it just wasn't the same hit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think reading yours, it was like, okay, this is what we need. You know what I'm saying? This is something that really puts you in the driver's seat or something. For a minute, you feel like you in that ride with you. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like
I
reading
appreciate
it,
it.
word, like that was something I felt like, damn, you feel like
You
you
were
in that
there.
car. You know what I'm saying? Like all the action,
That's
you
like-
in the
yeah,
action.
that's one of the things I wanted to do is, man, it's like I wanted to be close to detail, so it's like you can live in the moment with me, man, so that you can capture the moment of Boston in that era, in that time, man, and what was going on, because you have to understand we was growing up in a crazy time. We was growing up probably in the mix of the height of the gang and the crack era.
Right,
You
right.
see what I'm saying? So you have everybody on all the blocks. You have 10, 15 dudes on every block, and it wasn't the reason why the murder rate was so high is because dudes are going to be out there every day. You come in there and shoot, dudes will come back and be right there the next day. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't no hiding and nothing. It wasn't no just the blocks. The
Everything was like right there.
Right.
So I'm gonna jump around a little bit because talking about entertaining, how when I was reading it, I felt like I could see it, and that's how I love a good book, no matter the genre. If I can be present in the moment as I'm reading it, was that by design, or you just happened to flow that way? You know what I'm saying? Did you purposefully say, you know what, I want my reader to feel like they was on the Ave?
Well, I feel like I'm trying to grow as a writer, man, not just as, being hood books, man, but I'm just trying to grow as a writer, man, and the growth of me just doing books is I feel like I'm trying to get better each time. So, but I wanted it to really highlight my story, and, I kept it close, man, and there's a lot of things I left out. These are part 2, 1 and 2, but it's actually a trilogy.
Yes, it is. And
yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, I'm done. Where's part 3? When can we expect part 3?
So part 3 is I'm looking probably at the end of the summertime. So that takes a lot of time. That's going to highlight. So this goes to age 18. This goes to age 25 when I'm indicted for murder. So part 3 is going to highlight basically my path in jail. And I left a lot of street stories out. So when I'm sleeping, I'm going to have nightmares. When I have nightmares, I'm going to be back on the street just putting in work. So it's going to be a prison book slash street book.
Oh.
But you're gonna learn the growth. You're gonna see the change of me, man, of, okay, where I think that this gang stuff is kind of, silly. You know what I mean? When I think that we're not really enemies like that.
Right, right.
So even with, there's disclaimers, right? So you say that it's based on true events,
Right.
but there's also disclaimers. When you were writing the book, how did you determine, you know what, I might got to change this person's name? They might know I'm talking about them.
So Actually,
That was
like,
something I wanted to ask.
it was
too.
so like actually like if I had something bad to say about you, I changed your name. If I had something good and you was my peoples, and I knew you appreciated what I was gonna say, you know what I mean? I kept your name the same.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
That's a
So
good
I gave
formula.
everybody their props, but it wasn't about exposing anybody in the books, man. It's more about telling my story.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not out to, expose anybody, but that's what it is. I can't tell my story. You see what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
like it is what it is. But as you see, like I changed all the names, man, because it's not about trying to bring anybody down. It's about bringing everybody up.
Okay.
When it came to that
Testimonial.
right there, was it something like when you wrote it, you changed the names, or did you write it with the real names and then formulate
Edit
the
it.
names?
No, I actually wrote it with the changed names,
Okay.
and just went with the flow. So, in Fantasies of Passion, it's 13 erotic different stories, right?
Right.
And each story is a different character, a different age, a different nationality, and it comes in a different setting. Someone might be on the ocean, so I just use my imagination. So this was kind of easy to write because it was my life story. So I basically know, what happened. You see what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right.
it was easy. I feel like the next 3-4 books, I'm gonna expand my mind. So I wrote part 2 of this, but my next ones are gonna be like self-help books for the streets.
Early, that's dope.
So-
That's kind of like something my cousin wrote, like more like a self-help joint, like something with like real
Bullet
short,
points.
real.
Well, so my point is basically for youths of today, man, to avoid the potholes that we stepped in back in the days. You know what I
Coming
mean? It's
up
more about
early.
educating them, man, about financial gains, man, about the potholes, about negative friends, about what you could do, man, with just being having ownership. It's about uplifting them and trying to bring them into another level, man.
Nah, because I say that because when I was back, I tried it. I tried to write a. I was like, yo, I'm gonna write a book, but I ended up writing like a chapter, and I let a couple dudes read it. But then when I let my peoples read it, first thing he said was like, yo, that's dope, but you got to change everybody's name. I was like, motherfucker, how the fuck I'm gonna change? Hey, and remember, you know what I'm saying? And I really just scrapped it. But I always wondered, how do people do it when you're writing a real story to know, like, yo, I'm gonna change this? And do you ever remember if you're using characters again?
Well, I mean, like I said, my life story it was plain and simple. You know what I'm saying?
So you don't gotta remember it if it's
like
the truth.
it was more or less put in the memory and sequence, man, so that everything be like, okay, I remember that time and that place, and that I was
Right.
more or less trying to worry about months.
Right, right.
I had broke it down to I want this month to that month to that month. You see what I'm saying? Trying to relive my life.
We
But,
definitely got way ahead.
We did.
But I want, because we got to slow down. We got to go back. We got way ahead. I want to know, like, when was like you first like, yo, I'm gonna write a book? When did you get the idea?
So, for people don't know, I got sentenced to natural life.
What the
life
fuck?
Life without parole.
That's
So,
a nasty one.
While I was down, I want to probably say like I did 12 years. So I probably want to say in my life, people always when they heard my case be like, "Yo, you should write a book. You should write a book." And I always said, when I get out, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? So, and I meant it. I never felt like the whole time I was doing life that I was gonna, be doing life. I would still walk around the yard, carefree. Everybody knows that, like, yo, that's Eight's character. He talks to everybody. He's cool with everybody. You would think he has 2-3 years. You see what I'm saying? So, but once I got started, my man Mike Manil was like, yo, I'm about to do it to be dope. If you do yours, I do mine, and we connect. He did his first, man. He started once I seen him
Shout out
started
to
and
Mike,
was
too.
serious. You know what I mean? I got serious, man. And right now I'm on book 4.
So this was something that formulated when you was locked up.
Absolutely.
Because you know
When
how
did
everyone's like, yo, everybody has a story to tell. But, I mean, I know you said when you was down, but I have a story as well. But like you said, I'll write and I'd be like, you know what, fuck this shit. Like,
when did you put pen to pad? Like, when did you start to really jot it down? Was you locked or was you home?
I actually came home. I actually did it on the streets.
Okay.
Because, due to my situation, I couldn't really pin all that and leave it around the cell and everything. So it's like, that would have been incriminating evidence against me. Right. So it's like,
a lot of you niggas don't be thinking like that.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
that shit he just dropped was a Jew. I hope y'all heard that.
So, when I came home, the reason why I'm able to pin all these books is because it passed the statute of limitation. And I pled guilty to the crime. So I'm able to talk about everything. Right. So I actually get into my murder in the books, because I'm actually able to say whatever. And it's been lawyer to prove.
Okay.
So you came home.
Right.
How long was you home before you started writing?
Immediately.
Well, people know I came home and one of the first things I did, man, is got into the car business, started a dealership with my partner. Then my boy got locked up and he started his book while he was locked up. Right. So I was like, you know what? This is something we talked about, and I'm gonna make time for it and be serious about it. And I'm always, I've always been about business. So it's like when I started it, I'm gonna make a business out of it.
Did you write literally everything, or did you have like an editor, someone that was like?
I write everything. I write everything word for word. These first two books, I wrote on pen to pad, word for word. So I have the stack of papers of the original transcripts that I wrote on pen to pad with these books at home.
Goodness. Put them in the safe. I hope they're in the safe now.
So these ones right here, now I learned better. So now I write on the laptop. You see what I'm saying? And then I just transfer the files. Right. But these right here, they meant a lot to me. So these really, I took my time with them, man. Every single word, man, pen to pad, just laying it down, man.
I hope you put them in a safe. I'm going to say it again.
You did it. This was on Right Turn, Wrong Turn Right was your first one?
Right.
You knew you wanted to do other books off top, like besides your life story, like, yo, I could write. That's a joint I want to write. What made you know you can write? So,
it's funny that you mentioned that, right? I did 12 years. You know what I mean? So I've always been a writer.
Wrote letters.
So dude to tell you, I used to write letters for other dudes. You know what I mean?
Okay. What you said I did 12, you already knew what he was about to go to.
I was one of those dudes, man. The big, long yellows,
the legal pads.
Mm-hmm. So listen, man, I was one of those dudes. Like I couldn't just write one, like a half a line. I send you three of those a night, and I might be writing like 3 girls, man. I just send all those right there, boom, you know what I mean? But I was one of the people in the joint. I had the most mail in the joint. You know what I mean? Like,
you already know.
So that's what I enjoy doing. So it's like I learned I could do Fantasies of Passion with ease, man, just by
early. Because you was already doing it from those shit.
I was listening, man.
Because a lot of niggas come and kind of tell you what angle they going for, and
that's what
you kind of got to put it into those words sometimes.
Listen, when you're in jail, man, and you don't have too much to go on. You see what I'm saying? Wow. You have 2 things. You have visits, you have phone calls, and you have letters. You see what I'm saying? So you got to be real good at all 3, man.
Well, shout out to the nigga Love, because the nigga Love did it. Nigga did it for me. Put a letter together, but it was just basically, yo, this what type of chick she is.
That's what I was gonna say. Do you tell like basic info?
And in the morning he slid that shit. He said, yo, rewrite that shit. It's gonna go. And that motherfucker went.
Man, listen, man.
When I say that shit went, it was mill right back.
If I could tell you some stories, man, about some gold, you'd be like, it's some unbelievable stories, man. Like, yo, I learned early that, I had a gift for writing, you know what I mean? And I didn't mind writing long letters. I didn't mind just, taking my time and doing it. And I would have a full day.
Right.
But I would go through ease where people would be like stuck on a letter. I'd go through a letter, be like bang, and be like, okay.
And just, right.
Sure.
So when you did it, what made you pick your life first?
As this, when I came out?
Like, because what you could have went with
Well, I
passion.
mean, I think that my life story was an important story to tell, especially because it's one that is not normal. Everybody just highlights the negative, and if you just read these 2 books, that's what you'll get, the negative. So that's why it's a trilogy, is because you'll actually see the growth in a person, man, that was negative, man, that turned positive and started thinking differently, and now he's on a path of trying to, change other youths. He wants someone that, me, I've always been about everybody winning.
Early.
Never been about just me
That's
as a
like to
person.
see
You see what I'm saying?
everybody
Like, yo, I learned early, if you're winning, she's winning, my man's winning, that's more people to hold me down if I do fall.
Yes,
And
sir.
everybody be your man. Hey,
Yes,
you
sir.
fall, everybody falls.
Everybody fall.
Right.
Did you find this process? I know you said you were natural, but did you find it cathartic or like therapy type of, or was it hard to go through some of those there's some hard shit, y'all gotta read this, there's some hard shit even I had to read, so never mind writing. Was it therapeutic for you, or you had to like kind of exercise those demons, if you will?
I mean, I think I've already, kind of repented for everything I've already did, man. And, if I kind of, try to, make amends with everybody that I had a problem with, you know what I mean? So dudes know that I'm not for no problems, and I know they ain't for no problems. So if, it's like when you get to a point of being older, it's like you don't care about that shit. So it's like now it's just about telling my story and doing it in a truthfully, where everybody can understand and be like, nobody get back flack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I've done it. I got no back flack from.
And how long did it take you to write the first joint?
So I actually wrote the first 2 in a year. I wrote them both together, so I released both of them on the same day.
You was in there writing 12 joints.
Right. I dropped both of them on the same day. I didn't release 1 and then 2. I dropped 1 and 2 together.
That's a classic.
See what I'm saying? A double CD.
That's a classic double CD.
You know what I mean? Like, real.
Yeah, how that shit ever been done with books?
I'm not sure.
I don't think nobody. I never heard of
the double CD?
I don't heard nobody ever doing the double like that. Like just to run 2 joints at one time.
Right.
Now, that was dope.
Right.
What so who was like when you was writing it? Did you let people look through it, or was it a thing where it was like once I'm finished, people would see it?
So I actually just finished the whole thing by myself, and I was like, yo, a lot of my boys didn't even see it until I had everything complete. They read it. I gave them the book, like, you know what I mean? Because, I just kept telling them, listen, it's dope. It's a reflection. The dudes is like, okay, we're going to see, man.
So they knew you was doing it, but they didn't see it.
They didn't see it, but when they read it, they was like, okay, you know what? He really captured the moment. He captured the time that we was in, man. And it's like, you know what? It wasn't all about just gang life, man. It was about the unity we had, man. It was about the people we lost, man. It was about, the things that we had, man, that didn't mean that it wasn't financial, but it meant the world to us.
Because even like I say that, like back then, a lot of shit wasn't like about the financial. I think that's why we was always straight back then, because we never that wasn't what we dwelled on. It was more like the unity, the time we fucked with niggas, the party, just shit that was going on in the moment. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of your shit reading it felt like being on it now at some of them parties. You know what I'm saying?
Man, come on, man.
Shit,
Like the house
you was
parties,
in that basement.
The basement
you was in that basement with niggas.
I felt hot. Like, I know it's hot down there. It's
like
sweaty.
you knew it was hot as
the
shit,
basement
right?
parties, man. Listen, man, and you have to understand, it's not like now, man. You have kids right now, man. At 18, they're financing a car.
Right.
Back then, you didn't have a lot of cars. You had a lot of people, man. You had
niggas
everybody.
walking.
You had the drug dealers. You had the people selling that's using drugs, man. You had the average citizens. You had a lot of people just running the streets, but not a lot of the youths, man, were like ahead of their times where they drive and they do that. So it's like when you did get a car, it was to be celebrated.
Yes.
In the hood. It wasn't like, oh yeah, he got that car.
Word.
It was like, yo, he got
like,
that
that
car,
nigga got
man.
that car.
Yo, we all in there.
Like,
Like,
we
yo,
all
you know
felt
what I mean?
like we got the car when
Yep.
a nigga from the
Come
block got
on,
the
man.
car.
You
Real
know what I
shit.
mean? Like, no,
it was like everybody just got a V today.
right now it's different, man. Like everybody's like, man, I got a couple. I got the auction. I got the. We didn't have that back then.
When you was putting the book together, was it a thing of like, I don't want to offend people, or was it just like, yo, I'm gonna write my story?
I think that, you know, I've always been, you know, the one that stand on my word, you know what I mean? And that's why I changed the names around. And as if you see, like in the author's note and all that, man, you know, I kind of give props to everybody, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I don't think anybody I was tougher than anybody or anything. It's just that I think we was caught in the phase, man, where we was acting reckless, and
That's
a lot
one
of people
thing.
died because of that.
That's one thing that was dope about your books was you didn't shade nobody. Like
Right,
you bigged
man.
every
See, I
hood
said
up.
that, man,
Like
yeah.
every hood, no matter how it was, you bigged them up. It wasn't like a hood you was like, nah, them niggas was cool. It was like, nah, these niggas from over here and they was wild from over it. Like,
Right,
you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So your
That's
whole shit was like, even with that, I caught that. I'm like, damn, that's dope. A lot of
Wasn't
niggas would have
biased.
went right with the bias shit, like, oh no, fuck them niggas from over. You know what I'm
Man,
saying?
listen, man, that was the era I grew up in, man. So it's like I was speaking my reality, man. Like when I talk about them hoods doing that shit, them hoods was doing that shit. You see what I'm saying?
Early.
It's like, yo, it's like I talk about everybody, man, because at the end of the day, man, we're all grown men, and if we all move beyond that, people don't know. It's like we go through the beefing and all that shit, right?
Right.
Half those dudes, man, 3/4 of them end up in the prison system.
For sure.
They be having more time in the prison system with their enemies than they have with their boys, man. They end up being cool with their enemy, man, because they be like, yo, he's a good dude.
Early.
You know what I mean? I always say that, man. We're alike. We just come from different hoods,
Yes.
man. You see what I'm saying? Spend some time with the next dude. You be like, he's good.
Yeah, nigga, definitely a good nigga. I think that's how, like I said, most Boston niggas, if you sit down with them, you like, man, nigga kind of just like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of us is built like that. It's just we don't give each other the time to, you know, when you at it, you at it. And I feel like we all big-headed in that sense. Like, the way you was talking, I feel like if anybody would have been honest in that time, that's how they felt. But if you would have been the way niggas usually be, they wouldn't have expressed it. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody thought in that time they hood was the hood.
Everybody, listen, man. What I learned is, man, even in my hood, man, everybody's the tough guy in their own hood. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like when you get out your hood, man, it's how you represent it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So when you stand on your own, too. You see what I'm saying? And I met great guys on every hood. There's good dudes in every hood.
That's what I say.
I don't
Every
care
hood.
where you at, man. There's good dudes, man, solid dudes in every hood, man, and there's snitches in every hood.
Wow.
There has never been a gang in history that someone ain't snitched out of the gang.
Real
Period,
shit.
man. So it's like, you know, you have to recognize, man, forget the gang culture. If a guy's good, man, you know, you take him in, man. You know,
Wow.
and that's why I'm about bigging everybody up. I don't put no one down, man, because listen, man, them dudes are good.
Early. Even with writing, did you know where like your chapters was?
So during the process, man, I learned how to be an editor. I learned how to, you know, right now, man, when I write, man, I do my chapters, man, I do my star breaks, man, I do everything, man. I do my editing, man. I send it after I'm finished editing. I send it to the professional editor.
Right.
They go through 3 rounds of editing, and they send it back to me. Then I, you know, critique their work, and I put out the final product.
The
So
way you say it,
I
though.
always switch up. I don't, you know, listen, man. I think that my product's gonna be the best, man. I'm studying to be the best, man. You know.
Early, but in the beginning, did you know that? Like in the beginning when you first was writing, or was it just like,
no,
yo, I
man.
wrote
So
all
let
this
me
shit?
tell
there?
you this, man. I wrote these 2 books by paper.
Right.
So, you know, for all the people that's just starting, man, like, don't just write nothing on paper, man. When I dropped that on the editor, she said, "What the hell are you doing, man? Listen, man, this right here, like this is not the proper format."
Early.
But I paid the part, the cost to be the boss, man. Like I didn't want to just come in. A lot of people was trying to give me money to help me, but they wanted a cut.
Right.
I own my company 100%.
Period.
Early.
Everything.
Bullshit.
Man. Everything I own 100%, and I have other people. You see what I'm saying? So it's like me. I'm always about entrepreneurship. I never worked a day or a second in my life for anybody.
Early.
If somebody wanted to get on, you have your business. I have a story. How do they reach out to you, and what is the initial process like?
Well, I mean, listen, I'm accessible every day, man. I deliver books in the hood every day.
Delivered mine.
Yo, that's what I was going to say.
By hand signed.
This is a nigga that really pull up, get him to you.
Frugal bookstore. I haven't. Me personally, everybody's like, I can't get it on Amazon and them. So I chose to go the whole independent route.
Right.
So that you can get the Kindle books on Amazon. You can get Source of Information, was the second one. That's the only one that's released on any platform in paper book. If you want it, you come see me. And I've shipped it from way out of this country, man, numerous times. You know what I mean? So it's like me, it's word of mouth, and that's what I'm about, man. Like if you have a business, I'll throw it on my page. And I have a good following, and everybody supports. That's what it's about.
Nah, so, take me through the transition of, okay, the books is done.
Right.
Now what?
It was more about the business. Because even through the books started, before I started putting pen to paper, I started researching, man, how to own a company. Like that was first and foremost. It was more like business. Because it was like, I'm not going to just give my story away. I'm not going to let no one take it. Right now, man, my shit's protected. I know everything. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm going to make sure I'm protected as a businessman. So after that, it was like, okay, now I can write my story once everything was secure.
So going back to how you ship worldwide, people are reading your story. I was wondering, because I'm born and raised in Boston, Dorchester. So I know what's going on.
Wow.
Has any of your readers that are out of town had any feedback about, okay, I'm with you with it, but it's just so Boston that Boston culture is its own, I think.
So, yeah, I listen, if you go with the first book, Wrong Turn Right, man, it's like in a box. Because that was the reality of my situation. Like, we didn't really leave the hood. We was in a full-fledged war. Where we went, it was war. It was on site. You know what I mean? So, and I kind of detailed that in the book, where you like, okay, I feel like, I'm in the mix of the action. Wow. But in Source of Information, it's well known as well. We was making a lot of money. You see what I'm saying? Like, we was making a shitload of money. Excuse me.
No, it's all right.
But we was also traveling with Benzino. So
shout out, dog.
Right. So, I travel to a lot of different states, man, with the Source magazine, with Benzino, and of course, man, by myself, man. I was always someone who loves to explore, who loves to get out and do me.
For sure. So it was no type of, the only reason why I asked that, I think anyone can relate to it, even if you're not from Boston and you're not familiar with the streets. Like, I'm following you in the car, like, I know what turn you're taking, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm from here, but I think anyone can follow the book, even though it's based in Boston.
Well, Source of Information actually has, like, I think 6 or 7 different states in it.
Yes.
So it's just not in Boston, man. We're in Miami, we're in LA, we're in Providence, man. We're in, DC, we're in Virginia. So, it's a lot of different places, man, where it's like, okay. And I try to capture those places as well. It's like, I'm like, okay, people from Boston might know because you're like, oh, it's so Boston book, right? But when I say something about DC, right, they're gonna be like, oh shit,
He was there.
He said no. He said a club that's no longer around
Right.
that used to be crazy. You
'Cause
know
he
what I'm
was
saying?
there.
So
He
know
captured
he was
the time.
down here.
He
Word.
captured the time in our city that we used to fucking love. Excuse me, we used to love, but we no longer have. We take part in, but we all have memories.
Yep.
Early.
And that's what I wanted to do in Boston. It's like capture a time.
That's all I was saying, people. No matter what he's writing, you can feel the shit. You know what I'm saying? So
But it gotta be like I was trying to tell you, a lot of shit. I think with that had to be authentic for you to feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like it had to be like he said, he could mention some shit down DC that wasn't there right now. So niggas in DC feel it.
Right.
You know
and
what
what's
I'm saying?
crazy is because I've never been there, but I still felt like I was
Right.
there.
Listen, like I said in my book, go-go music. I'm like,
Go-go
when I first
music
came
be-
there, I'm like, what the hell is go-go
Wow,
music?
what
Like,
the
yo,
fuck?
I came there, they were like, yo, all I knew was Homecoming. I'm like, yo, Howard, go-go music. And then
Go-go music
they
is
brought
different.
me to a club. Oh my God, man! I was like, I became a fan of go-go music. I was like,
Once you
okay.
in that shit, you like
You're
that
like,
shit.
listen, but
Word.
that's when you realize, man, you know, just experiencing different cultures, man, you might just turn into something that you like. Like, oh shit, I can vibe to that something more than, you know, I vibe
Word.
back
Yep.
home.
I went to college in the South, HBCU. Shout out WSSU. I never heard in North Carolina. I never heard of go-go music until I went to North Carolina, and I was like, "What the fuck? Get this shit!" And by the next week, I was like beating my feet and shit.
Right,
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You can't help it because you'll be the oddball just
Wow.
sitting there like, what the hell
And
is
that's how it
everybody
was when
going
I was
crazy
in, like,
about?
DC.
And then you just, you know, if you're really into music, it just
Yes.
starts to feel you. You be like, oh,
it's
shit,
music,
This shit is
and you know,
like-
black people love drums,
Right.
a bass line.
Right.
That's all you need.
And that's all that shit really be them like going hard.
Black
What
culture
made
is
you
black culture.
stay independent with your books though? Like and not really
So I'm-
shop them around.
Yeah, I'm actually about to really go out there. You know what I mean? But I'm actually shopping. I'm a businessman, so I'm trying to shop it as a deal, man. I'm actually looking for, you know, movie deals or everything. Like I'm just not trying to give my story away for free.
Right,
You
right.
see what I'm saying? So these right here, it's a reflection of my mind that I want to just experience with the ladies.
Right, right.
Right.
Hold up, did you write all of those short stories, or was it a
So
collaboration?
this is so these is anything I put to pad is me 100%.
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
Talk your shit.
So this right here is
You said
13
anything I
erotic
put
short
to pad.
stories, different characters. Like you could be like it'll be you'll be on the ocean with a 40-year-old, and then you'll be somewhere else having a threesome. So
I
this,
thought it was a collaboration.
No.
These are all different stories.
these are me. This
But-
is me, you know, in my mind. So the next one is 300 pages that I'm dropping, 20 stories, you know, bigger and better. And I think I'm even better with this one. I think I'm gonna.
That's
Hold
dope.
touch some things.
I have to say it again. It's 13 different short stories. I thought that maybe were different authors, but it's all it's all him.
Nah, that's what I was thinking. Like for him to write all three, that is a lot of writing. That's talent. Like that ain't just like yo. Let me put my story out so niggas, you know, because a lot of niggas just push their story. But it's like you know, I think with that shit, all three of them, you show how your brain work. You know what I'm saying? Like you had a skill to fuck with a movie or do different things. You know what I'm saying?
You brought me to my next question. Stop answering my questions before I can ask them, please. But you said I wanted to know about the visuals and if there was going to be a movie or a short series or anything. If there is, how are you going to do that? When are you going to do that? And why do I need to be casted as Ma?
So I listen. I've been in talks and I've been doing some things, man. And part 3. So that's why part 3 is important because, yeah, I talk about you know a lot of things that we went through. You know, people don't know like the Paul Pierce situation, the Ruff Ryders situation. These are things that other people did podcasts on that you can Google. And again, in source of information, like a lot of the stories I'm telling, you can Google right then and there. When I'm telling about Little Kim and and Busta Rhymes on stage
Yep.
at the Source Awards, right? And I'm talking about what happens. You can Google that exact moment. When I talk about Soulja Slim that's died, man, rest in peace from, you can Google that and be like, oh, shit, you know what?
Nah,
That's
that was,
what he's talking
that was some
about.
of the shit I
man.
was gonna get into
See what I'm saying?
too. I wanted to know like how was that moving around with Zeno? You know what I'm saying? Like how was that for you?
I mean, if you look at my books, man, I only say positive things about him. You see what I'm saying? I have high respect for the guy. You know, I would never say anything negative, man. Everything when people say, you know, Zeno, I can say, man, listen, man, I stayed in the Beverly Hills Hotel because of him. I went on 3 award shows because of him. I met stars, man, that no
A
one
lot
would
of you
get in
niggas that
contact
never
with or
stay in the
never
Beverly
see with,
Hills.
man, that was just hanging with us. You know what I'm saying? Like you say Lisa Ray, everybody was like, Lisa Ray used to be in the entourage. So it's like, you know, like it was like, you know, everything with the Source man. So I can only say when anybody does anything for me, I'm gonna show love. So if you give me a little bit of love, I'm gonna show you a lot of love. That's just me.
Early, that's real.
Definitely, you guys were ahead of your time. And that I don't want to give too much away because you need to read it. But as far as Benzino and moving around and having this and having that and just being at award shows, first of all, you can't even get in the door. But you were in the door and rubbing elbows and kissing babies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it was way and
I want to ask
the
you
money,
that
the
too,
jewels, like everything
how
was ahead of its
that
time.
Being at a award show.
Man, listen, man. I had seats, man, at some award shows that I was feeling the fire from the stage. And I think that was the one with Puffy and Nas, man, was going, man, for the Hate Me Now.
Yeah, that Hate Me
You know what I mean?
Now.
Like, there's so many, but like, yo,
I think I was
no
back for
bullshit.
that one.
Like, that was probably one of my biggest ever. And I seen a lot of people perform, right?
Right.
But that right there, I think, was like epic in so many different ways. And I talk about that because, like, I was really part of the crew that was experienced the East Coast, West Coast beat. People don't understand. Like, they be like, oh, the Biggie, they be like, if you could just take it that, but it was way outside of that.
Right.
It was way outside of just, you know, New York and LA, man. But Boston always showed love, no matter where we was at. You know what I mean? Like West Coast dudes, East Coast, Midwest, we always got showing love.
That's that.
Boston always been known for putting in work. If you, not to speak on the situation, but some of the rappers that niggas done got into it with.
I mean, I kind of speak. I speak in the book, man. I speak my truth, man. You know, listen. We was there with Paul Pierce. Actively took part in it. You know what I mean? They didn't know it was Paul Pierce, and you know what I mean? Because listen, he wasn't superstar, and
that was official
like,
too.
Right.
It was just a dark situation, and I talk about that in the book. It's like, yo, I'm like, yo, I'm not trying to put Paul Pierce, because I say, as you see in the book, I'm like, he was holding his own.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's why I didn't want to ask you in that form of like the book, because I didn't want to seem like we giving the book out. So that's why I was like,
but it's like, yo, man, you know, I think it's well documented, man. But it's things in this book that Paul Pierce don't even know. You see what I'm saying?
That's
There's
a
things
fact.
in it he put in his podcast that was untrue. That I have people that's, you know, that was there. Like he talks about the ladies that was there and all that.
Early.
I got first-hand accounts from him in the book. You see what I'm saying? And what he's talking about is untrue altogether. But you know, read the book. You'll find out everything.
Read the book. The books.
The
Plural.
books. No, part 3 is coming.
I'm telling you.
3's on the way.
When I was reading it, because I'm big 40 years old, but I was still too young to be on that particular scene. I remember the story clearly.
Whoa. I'm like young too. I'm right behind you.
I'm
man.
sorry.
So I was just a young stepper. I wasn't up there at everybody. But listen, I was off the porch early.
I was
definitely back then.
It was definitely outside early, but
What year was that Paul Pierce shit? Like,
right.
Was it 90?
Like 90,
98, 99?
I was in college at the time.
Because I think it was before 2000.
Listen,
Right. I didn't graduate. I wasn't.
To tell you right. Listen, my sheep, man. That was like 98, 99 was like every 3 months I was locked up. So it's like that was.
Right.
I mean, like I was making dues every 3 months.
No, that shit was.
I was outside,
crazy.
but y'all were outside even earlier than I was outside.
Wow.
Then I had no business. So
tiny
98,
bit.
98, I was only 17 and going to college. So I missed.
Man, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I missed.
No, but
that.
niggas was running. But now, you know, when that shit happened to Pitts, that was like a big issue. A lot of people always said that shit. Like a lot of niggas didn't even know it was Pitts. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, honestly
like, real
speaking,
shit.
I was just coming into the club, and like we had that culture where we went to the club every week together. So it's like it wasn't just my crew. We had a collection of crews. Like at that time, man. Like I said, man, we had the wise guys going on. So
shout out Roscoe too, man.
right. So it was a collection of
Can't
crews.
talk about none of this shit without shouting
Right,
out Scope.
absolutely, nigga.
You know
It was a
what I'm saying?
nigga, and that. Listen, man. That's why you gotta read the book, man.
Bro,
Guys,
you
it's
definitely.
It was a collection of crews, man, and we all went out and we all sacrificed for everybody.
Right.
It's like, yo, man, if you got into a beef, your beef was my beef, and
The
that's
end
what,
is
and a lot of
together,
times
son,
that's
your
what
beef is
avoided
mine.
beefs. It's like, you know what? No
Most
one's gonna
time it avoided,
bother them
yeah.
guys, so you know what? We just go out and have a good time,
Right.
but we go out in our element, how we want to have fun.
Right. That's why with so much shit, I wanted to ask you, but I don't because it's in the book. And y'all gotta
Right.
get the book. Y'all gotta get the book to know it's in the book.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? We don't want to spoil it for y'all and get y'all everything in it. But
Well,
I'm
we
telling
can't
you,
spoil too much, but can we talk about the fleet without giving too much of the book?
The what?
The Fleet Center, the garden, because, like I said, I'm a 80s baby, 90s raised me, and even though I'm a fan of all type of music from all different genres and all different parts of the country, I felt like people was trying to really downplay or clown Boston,
Right.
and they don't know the story.
And if you really look at it, right, it's my shit's documented because what I put in the book, Locks has a podcast talking about it, like, yo, we was around it, nigga. And you know, I'm telling you, like, that was us. You see what I'm saying? Like, and I tell you, like, that's what I'm saying. A lot of the stories that you really thought about, I kind of put in detail of my life. I'm really not getting into everybody else's life because it was a lot of people. And I let them tell their lives.
Right.
You know, I let them tell them stories, man. But I tell you my life. If you came across me and that's what happened, then, you know, I tell you how it is.
Nah, and that's what I was saying too. Especially for the dudes like my generation, definitely appreciate the book because there's so many of those stories you heard about,
Yes,
but you don't know what happened if he wasn't in the building. So it's like with you telling it from a nigga that was in the building. So it's like it give you more. That's why it's like, even with me, it was so much shit that I wanted to know that was really there. And I feel like once niggas read it, it'll help niggas out, like understand a lot of them events.
Piece it all
it's
together.
a lot of the major events that happen that's in there.
And listen,
you know what I'm saying?
There's things
Like
in
a
my
lot
books
of
that
major.
there's things in my books that not just me, man, other camps know about. Like when I talk about the E40 situation and thing, one of those people assigned to the same people that they was cheering against. It's just like, yo, they wouldn't know that. You see what I'm saying? But I'm like, yo, I was there to witness it and shit going down, man. Like, and no matter where I went, whether I was in Boston or a different state, I always stayed militant, nigga, to my Boston ways. You know what I mean? So it's like I was there on the front line of every state. It wasn't like I was like, okay, you're bad enough. When I go travel with Benzino, and that's why I say, man, if I want to go travel, he's like, yo, I got a plane ticket. And people be like, yo, Zeno's a bad guy. Who the fuck gonna just give you a plane ticket? I come, nigga, to the driver's service as soon as I land. Okay, then I had to come to the hotel. The hotel's paid for. The room service paid for. Everything's paid for. Everything's free. Every time I've never traveled with him and it's not been free.
Early. Shout out
You know what I'm
Zeno
saying?
for that.
And this is the time that I have hundreds of thousands. So it's like, how can you not appreciate a person that did something for you if for nothing?
True indeed.
You know what I mean?
I think a lot of shit when it comes to Zeno, it just be not put out the right way. And one thing I learned growing up was people that's not content with their life, they always find a way to blame it on some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think if you not content who you are when you get older, you find a way to say some shit didn't go right to put you wherever you think you should be. You know what I'm saying?
What you mean?
I really can't say that, man, because everybody has their own individual relationships and stories to tell.
Right.
That I'm not even privy to. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And that even if I wouldn't even talk this. A lot of shit, like, I tell my life story, but it's not even a quarter of my life story.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, this shit that I just wouldn't tell and just that doesn't, like, there's codes that I would never break. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and I can't tell someone else's truth.
Right.
You know what I mean? I could never be like, you was wrong or he did this and he did that.
Right.
I can only speak for what someone did for me from my eyes and what I experienced. And just the same as my book. I don't never try to down nobody. I just try to speak from my eyes, my experience, and tell my truth. You see what I'm saying? And that's it.
And I think that was a difference too. Like you said, speaking from your eyes, your experience. I think so many people that try to speak for everybody that was there.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, as a group, we was, but like you said, it was different hoods, different niggas. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of shit played the part in all them situations. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely understand that part of it.
And it's crazy a little bit how now that you say that, I realize it. I realized it when I was reading it that there was no bias. You just said what you said. But that's interesting that you pointed it out to me, and I appreciate that you said what you said, but it was from your point of view and from your story. And you wasn't telling anyone else's story. They happened to be there.
Listen, I happen to be there. And if I'm there, I told from my eyes. Man.
Yes.
And the only time I ever kind of veered from that, man, is basically when I'm telling a story of one of my brothers. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, my brothers gave me okay. They did that. They said they did it in their books.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, listen, nigga, this is what we doing.
Early.
But I would never tell anybody else's story because, I can't. I can never tell Zeno's story because his story, I know a little section of his life. You know what I'm saying? And not just his life, everybody's life.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't know a person.
Early. Definitely true indeed. With that, when you was writing it, did it bring up old things within self, writing it? You know what I'm saying? Like, certain shit, looking back over it, being the age you are writing, like, damn, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
When you know what I'm saying?
I think, man, I did 12 years. I had a lot of time to reflect on life and everything that I went through, man, during the time span I was down.
Early.
Like, people don't understand when you do short time, you're still caught up in the world of getting out. You're still caught up in the world of, okay, I got this gameplay and this is what I'm going to do. When you get natural life, I was in the lifer's block. I'm sitting there with people that got 30, 40, 50 years.
Early.
You see what I'm saying? I'm in there with old timers, then that's how I learned how to do stocks. Because they seen how advanced I was in the joint. They see how I was moving. I got told by people that was older than me, man, white people, that was like, listen, hey, this is where you spend your money. And this is how you do it. So I think it's just like, if you do a lot of time, you have time to reflect on your life.
Early.
And then when you're doing life, all you think about is coming home and just, making amends and doing something different, man. You don't want to come home and do something crazy.
What was like that turning point for you when you was like, yo, I gotta change? Because definitely reading the books, you was late, you was turned. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers was on it. What made you, okay, now I got to move
Simmer
different.
down a little
You know
bit.
what I'm saying?
Dudes, no, man, I was go all the way in the joint.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I was go, but I went 12 years and didn't have a fight.
Early.
You see what I'm saying? I was go, but I was also, since
That's a
I've been
blessing.
like in the street, I was also the peacemaker.
Early.
Like, I was the dude that, man, when I come on the camp, I got 20, 30 dudes, friends, men, and everything. But it's like, only a dude that's trying to prove something will flex their power. You see what I'm saying? Real niggas be like, yo, if you can stop something, stop it.
Early.
If you got beef with someone, man, and it don't make sense, he's cool with me, he's cool, like, okay, then what he beefing with?
Right.
And that's why I tell you, like, a lot of the beefs in the joint, on the street, they get squashed over time in the joint. You see what I'm saying? Like, yo, you
lot of
would
shit do get
understand
squashed
how
in
many
that motherfucker.
wars where people were warring in the street and they sharing meals in the joint. Their boys done left them a long time ago.
We talk
You see
about
what I'm saying?
that shit
Like,
a
yo,
lot.
We already know.
We
You
talk
do
about that
time,
shit a
man,
lot.
Your boys are there for the joint, for the streets. But
Early.
when you go home, man, it's your girl, man. When you go to the joint, it's your girl, it's your mother,
Your
man.
mother.
And
Couple
whatever
family
stragglers you can
members,
fucking bring along the ride, man. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of times, you're doing time with your enemies. You do more time with your enemies than you did with dudes on the street.
That's a fact.
And you're sharing food, man. It's
Sharing
like,
food,
come on, man,
everything
come on,
with
man. You gotta
niggas.
see dudes every day.
That's a fact.
Sheesh.
What can we plan coming after these books? You said we got a trilogy coming out of that. What else is coming?
So next month I'm doing part 2 of Fantasies of Passion. I said it's 300 pages, 20 stories. You know, I up the ante. After that, I'm doing part 3 of my life story, the trilogy, the In Everything. It's going to tell a lot of the stories that people didn't know. It's also going to bring a lot of the stories, man, that was missed, that was left out. But after that, I want to just focus on the youth. I want to focus on racial tensions in America. So I'm gonna do a racial, relations book, man. About what's the misunderstanding of us growing up in the hood with black and white. So we went through a lot of things, man. Like, people don't know Boston was like. It was divided when we grew up.
That shit was
there was
racist
black,
as
there was
shit.
white, man. You know what I mean? You didn't really. There was 2 sections that you didn't cross, man. You know what I mean? And then when they crossed, it usually ended up bad because people weren't really used to, being divided. You see what I'm saying? Now in America, it's becoming gentrified, man. Where they're coming into our hoods, man. We're forced to be moved out. But in back in the days, I didn't see a white person. People be talking about, hey, Boston ain't nothing but white people.
I always say that shit.
I never seen a white person in Boston back in the days.
No bullshit, unless they was police. Like you
listen,
never
if
seen
you saw
or
a white
DSS
person coming
working
in Boston,
like.
they was police. And and I say it in my book, if you see, a white female walking in Boston, it was just like, we know what it was.
Wow, no
It
bullshit.
was just real. It was just real
Like,
shit.
you
It's
did.
like, yo, this was the spot that people locked their doors, man, as soon as they crossed the line. Like, people, they be like, oh, you talk like Boston. Like, nah. Listen, those people didn't even come in the hood. Like
right.
them people
I
couldn't
always
even
tell
come in the
people
hood.
that
Like,
shit.
Them people was like, what, are you crazy?
We never ran. It wasn't like in the hood. They was
Come on,
pulling
man,
up,
like,
fucking us
there
up.
was no South D takeover. Like, listen,
it was
listen,
like black
there was
and
no
white.
white people in the hood, man. Like, half of my crimes as a juvenile was crossing state lines, man, doing bad shit in their neighborhood.
In their
You see what I'm
neighborhood,
saying?
you already
Like,
know.
taking their shit, man. You know what I mean? Like, they like, oh man, when we see the black guys, it ain't no good,
No
man.
bullshit, word, because they
like, no
back
bullshit,
then niggas
like,
stayed on some bullshit with white people
Come
back
on,
then.
man, like, yo,
in the 90s,
Like, listen, half of my juvenile record, man, is just me having assault charges, man, up against little white kids, man. You know what I
early,
mean?
just doing shit. Word.
I went to,
That's how shit
what's
was.
crazy is, I went to the YMCA. One of my best friends, Bobby, to this day, I can remember his name. And, like, he was white, man, and, like, that was one of my best friends. So it's
Early.
like, I learned earlier on, man, like, we can come together. You see what I'm saying? We can, like, and then I always stuck to that after I got out of my juvenile phase. It's like you go through life. In life, you're going to go through mad steps and phases.
I think I went through that more in juvenile because I always tell niggas DY was a place like they didn't give a fuck what race you was. You was going in that room. Like, wasn't none of that shit how, like, upstate black with black. No. Nigga, that nigga Asian, black, white, black. They don't give a fuck what. They ain't never, they threw you in where the fuck a room was open. You know what I'm saying? So you learn at a young age how to live with white boys. You and a white boy be Sally 6 months. You know what I'm saying? And even with that, you see there's so many white boys from Southie that move like niggas. That ain't for that shit. They on the same shit. Like, I be telling niggas so much of all of us that be like the same. Even when you meet white boys from Boston, they kind of just like niggas. Like, if you really listen to them and get to know this nigga, and you're like, oh, no, this nigga same shit.
I went to Charlestown
certain
High.
Shit you cross, them niggas will fire on you.
I went to Charlestown High. Listen, in the 90s.
Fuck with one of the niggas they know, they coming back.
I went to Charlestown High in the 90s. And when I told my dad I was going to Charlestown, he was like, Charlestown? Niggas don't go there unless you're doing business or business. There's no other reason for you to go to that high school.
You said business
or business is the only reason you go to Charlestown. I'm like, Dad, it's like 95. I think I'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? Bullshit. So things change here and there.
Listen,
especially
man,
in a place like
listen,
that.
I grew up on the Hyde Park Mattapan borderline. You see what I'm saying? Like, I got dudes in my crew, man. John B, man, Mark, man, that I grew up, man, solid with. They team. They hood, man. You see what I'm saying? Like, yo, that's family. You see what I'm saying? So I learned early, man, like, yo, judge a person by their character.
And that's what you gotta do. You can't judge niggas on their color. You gotta judge people on their character.
Not even their hood, man. Because
on their character.
Hood, listen, man. 90% of these hoods go down, man, because of the secrets, man, that was shared in the hood. It don't be your enemy that bring you down, man. It be one of your boys, man, that know everything about you that bring you down. So when you be like, oh, I hate this dude, when it come to that indictment, your boy gonna bring you down.
It be
you
a
see what I'm
nigga
saying?
that you was talking to.
I always say, the weakest link, man. Your team is as strong as the weakest link.
It's a fact.
And then the weak link is weak, man. Everybody's weak.
Wow. That's one motherfucking 100. And before we ride, I got a couple more things. What is like to a youngin that's trying to like get a book together? What would you tell him?
I would say, man, listen, man. On any type of business, man, like anything you're trying to do, man, if you have a passion for it, man, set up a LLC, man, set up a company, an Inc., whatever, man, corporation, but get yourself serious about your craft, man. You know what I mean? Study the craft. Don't take anybody's word, man. It's easy to just give somebody your knowledge, man, and get it, man. You know what I mean? But put yourself, if you're serious about it, you'll put yourself in that situation. You'll study it, man. Google's there, man, and you can come together, man. It might cost a grip, but listen, man, it can be accomplished, man. And I'll help. I'm there to help anybody.
And I was getting ready to say that, like, how do somebody reach out to you and get your help?
Well, I got 5 Facebook pages, man, 2 Instagram pages, man. Excuse me, 7 Facebook pages, man. So you can call me 7. Picato Williams, man. James Belno Williams, man. Malik.
Yo, it's crazy because I
Malik
kept
Kari.
Trying to say the nigga's name, remember in the beginning?
Come on, from Volcano.
The nigga Volcano, like, yo.
No, listen.
Who's Volcano?
No, listen.
But what mad niggas is just like, who
people
the
don't
nigga
know,
ain't?
right?
Like,
People don't know, right? When I was on the block, right? I went by 8 exclusively.
right.
Like nobody, people in my hood didn't really even know my name. I was 8 to the world.
Right.
And if I met a female, I would give her a fake name. So Malik Kari, that was what Malik was an alias from back in the days, man. Jabril was an alias
shitty
from
telling
back in the
y'all
days.
right now.
But see, this guy right here, he did time with me, so he could tell you, man, about the the Vacado stage where I was like, yo, I was going by A. Everybody's called me A. I was like, yo, fuck that.
Nah,
man.
cause even like
Stop,
an
man.
older
Come on,
nigga,
man, right? I was like, yo, man. Everybody called me Vacado now.
an older
man.
nigga hit me, and I'm like, yeah, yo, the nigga Volcano, yo, the nigga Vacado. I'm like, no, what's the nigga's name? I'm like, yo, look at the shit. And then he's like, oh, the nigga A. I'm like,
Yes.
oh yeah. That's all. Like, wow, no bullshit. It took me a minute to figure it out.
Man, but me personally, man, I like to connect with anybody, man. If you reach out, man, I got my number on my business cards. Everything is the first thing here, man. You can inbox me at any given time. I probably get like hundreds of inbox. I get requests by people asking legal advice. I get requests about books and how they can start their books. I give, people just hit me up and just saying, man, they're inspired by me just doing my thing, man. And I just appreciate everything, whether it's me helping them or they're helping me.
No bullshit. So what is it like with your business? Is it to where, like, if I have a book, you're signing people that is trying to do books like other authors?
I have a couple of authors that I've already signed, man. Like, I'm trying to get Ronnie Qualls' book out. We're supposed to be been out.
Shout out Ronnie Qualls
this year. We're gonna make it happen. And I want to get Sean Ellis, man. You know what I mean? Like, this is my dude.
Shout out Shiz Ellis. You already know, baby. We got to get you up.
This is one of the dudes that always tells me, like, hey, man, let's go. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
And this is someone that I actually spent my time in prison with, man. Like, we was actually at a 4-man table. You see what I'm saying? Natural in the Life is block. Everybody doing natural life. And 3 of us out of the 4 is out. You see what I'm saying? Like, that was a thing in the joint. I used to say I was the lucky guy in the joint. Dice, attest to that. Like, yo, everybody who came in contact with me, man, great things happened to them, man. Flipping their case, doing something, and not everybody got out, but a lot of people they came home. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like it was just a positive vibe that we
Right, the energy, right, yeah,
when
definitely.
you feel good about yourself and you're around positive people that's trying to win and that want you to win,
Wow.
Great things start
Shiz
to
is
happen.
positive and shit too. Shiz is another positive nigga, you know what I'm saying? Definitely spread that energy. So you definitely like taking on other authors and trying to help dudes get right.
Man. Even if I can't take you on as a client, right?
Right.
I'm definitely going to give you my insight.
Right.
Because everybody's like, I want to be the man. And me personally, I want everybody to be the man.
Right,
I want us to win as a city. I don't want me to just be the spotlight. I don't want me to just win. I feel like, man, I got a great story. But everybody in Boston has a story. Everybody in this world has a story. It's just about how good you put it together and make it sound. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, if you believe in yourself and you want to make a mark on the world, like, I did this because not only I want to give back to my family, not only that I want to give back to myself and do good in the community, but now I'm remembered in history. When I die, I'm here for the rest of the time of Earth spinning this globe.
Real shit.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
what I tell
you're
niggas
gonna be
about
like,
the podcast. We
whoa,
here forever.
you're right. So it's like, when you get captured in time, man, it's like always capture a moment. But like, life is so short that life is about moments, man. And I lost 15 years of that. Being
Definitely.
foolish, being in the streets, trying to be the man, and using my fear and intimidation. But guess what? What did I earn from it?
15 years.
15 years. The dudes that were squares.
That's what we all get from that shit.
Listen, the dudes that were squares, right?
Was moving on with their life.
Not only that, when we got locked up, they fucking our girls.
Definitely, that's what I'm saying.
When we came home, they got houses. When we came home, they married and situated. Because you know what? And when we came home, we gave them the same amount of respect that we gave someone else that was in the street.
Early.
Because they was just from the hood and it wasn't about the gangbanging shit. So it's like, yo, what did we gain by doing that?
Early.
You see what I'm saying? They gain everything by just being in the books, living their life, doing
Just
whatever.
doing what they do.
And we went to jail, made it harder on ourselves to get a job, to do something better, man, because we was in the game.
Early.
So we're gonna drop those links because he said you can reach out. I have a woman that definitely would. She read your books as well, and she's like, "Well, does he take on clients?" I'm like, "Well, I'll ask him when he gets here." You heard what he said. Drop the links.
Hey, listen, if it's a good enough book, you know, I'm with it.
And
But right now, it's like I want something. Just not the normal hood book. I'm trying to venture away from the hood books. I want something that's going to be global. I want something that I can put on Oprah, man, and hopefully I can sign someone, man, they have something that could be put on Oprah. You see what I'm saying?
No bullshit.
It's like I think Boston has talent.
You got a blunt.
It's not even that. It's like
You
Boston has talent, man. We haven't been recognized in any section of talent, whether it's music, whether it's podcasts, whether it's books, whether it's, you know what I mean, no matter what, we have a story to tell that hasn't been told, man, and it's been told by one, you know, couple of sides, man.
Couple wrong people too.
It's a whole town. It's a whole town of
that's
knowledge.
that's one of the reasons why, no bullshit, I think it's so much love and a blessing having this pod, because I always just want to do this shit for the city, to give this city a voice. There's so many people that done spoke for us wrong or done got the wrong spotlight with it. It's like they never heard the city. And I think it's that time, like you said, books, everything.
Shit,
music, everything. It's time for us to be recognized for some of this shit that we are great at. Because Boston has hella talent everywhere. Like I say, I fuck with the music because it's not like it's just one hot, low young nigga with music. Like, all these young niggas are. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with everybody in the city. Like, it's not like it's just, not only he's good. It's like, nah, the fucking city's on fire.
City's fucking lit.
Niggas just don't know how to utilize it yet and put it together.
We don't know how to have unity.
Wow.
Like, yo, you go in other cities, man. Like, yo, I used to go travel, man, and don't hear no Jay-Z.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? Jay-Z got the #1 album, man. You don't hear no Jay-Z. You see what I'm saying? Like, yo, they like, yo, our shit's hot.
Yes.
We represent our shit, man. Like, but you have to be able to give the next man props.
You have to. I always tell niggas that.
Give the people before you, you know, their recognition, man. That's like, you don't talk down on nobody. You say, listen, man, I remember that.
Early.
That shit was fly, man, and it inspired me.
Wow, no bullshit. And that's what I tell niggas about with me. I'm a student of this shit. All the older niggas from my city inspired me. Like, it's not like like I was a young nigga that watched the older niggas, and niggas get fly and make different moves, and niggas be bully. So it's like so much shit I took in. It's like, I feel we need that. No bullshit. I feel like we need that outlet. You know what I'm saying? And I feel we need to start all getting paid for this shit.
Oh.
That's what it's about.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, that's why I say ownership, man, because there is no doing a craft without getting paid for it.
True
You see what I'm saying?
indeed.
There is no doing an event, man, if you're not getting the recognition for it. So I always say, man, put us first, man. That's why I say it's about us, man, because if we big ourselves up as a community, as Boston-based, nigga, we'll get other people to be like, yo, all of them believe in this.
All of them.
If all of them believe in this,
Ain't that what I always say?
They be like, there's the money right there. We don't have to chase the money because the money's right there because they all believe it.
They all believe it.
And then that's when you open your city up to, you know
and
what?
I say that, I said, it's not
some
going
other
to be
stuff.
one Dorchester nigga get it or Roxbury or South End. Like,
city.
The city has to say, that is him. And then the door opens. It's not going to be where Dorchester could just, he fired. That shit ain't going to work. The city has to, that's it. Let's all go.
I mean, people don't even understand, right? I came out with the books, man. And I got love in every hood, man, and everything, man. But it's dudes that be like, yo, I won't personally buy the book from them. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's fun. And I've never heard that per se,
right.
But I can feel it, me, because I just know Boston too.
Yeah.
But my thing is this, right? just because I come out don't mean I have the best fucking book.
Right.
Don't mean I have the best story. I encourage everybody from every hood, man, because everybody has a story now. And I'm doing a documentary where all the hoods, man, like 3 OGs from every hood, man. I got all kind of signed on where I could go in Heat Street, man, walk across the street, go in Academy. I go in Moore, I go everywhere, man. But I built those relationships with all the OGs.
Relationship.
But at the end of the day, I'd never say my story is the best story. Hopefully we get behind it. It opens a door for the next person to come in. Wow. You see what I'm saying? For the next person to come in. And they, just like rap, the first people that came in, right, didn't even get paid for it. But now the young dudes can come in, man, and make millions of dollars for it, for the sacrifices of the OGs. Jay-Z got the sacrifices of the people that was before him that really get nothing.
Wow.
His craft, he was one of the lucky ones, but a lot of his people got the shit into the stick. Now everybody's seeing the fruit of the labor. You see what I'm saying? So it's not about who comes first, man. It's about the doors you open.
Early. And that's what I be trying to say. Everybody have to stop looking at it like, I want to be the one to kick. What was I watching the other day? They say, the first person through any door is not usually the nigga they recognize. It's usually the next person. Right. It's usually T-Pain. That next person that gets looked at like, he's the master of this shit.
T-Pain
it's like, but what we have to all realize is like, we need the door open. So the shit don't even matter who go through. But the one thing that I can say you have been saying is, I have a story. This is my story. So it ain't like, it's the best story. It's like, now where's your story? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all you can say to a nigga. Man. And if you ain't a nigga that's hating, it's like, okay, let me put my story.
Right. And I support it. Like, you know me, man. My books, I got 7 Facebook pages, right? But listen, it's crazy shit, right? But I'm gonna tell you the science behind that, right? People be like, damn, he got so many names, so many Facebook pages. I said, listen, I'm independent. What would you rather do? Advertise to 5,000 or 35,000 people?
You do.
You see what I'm saying? So people don't know, man, I rotate my people. Not only did I get the 5,000 filled on each page, I cut thousands of people off, man, and replaced it with new buyers. You see what I'm saying? Because it's one page might not pop, but I get some money somewhere else. And that's what business is about, man. It's like, I might be in Boston, man, but I can get some money somewhere else as long as people have love for me somewhere else. You see what I'm saying? So why can't we get that here where it's all of us sticking together and getting the bread and keeping it here?
Said what he said.
Because I always say that I don't give a fuck what podcast go first, but we going like real shit. Like it ain't even about no shit like trying to be the best. It's like nigga, but we're gonna be one of them. We're gonna be one of the motherfuckers that come through too. So that's what I tell niggas. Everybody gotta show love. Niggas gotta start sharing shit to get your shit shared. Play nigga shit to get your shit played. Like, niggas don't understand the power in sharing other niggas shit.
And it's free.
You know what I'm saying? And it's fly shit. Free. Niggas gotta know that is fly shit. Putting other motherfuckers onto new shit. Like, that's fly shit. Niggas be looking at it like it's corny. Like, if you seen a video just dropped 10 minutes ago, you shared it. You the first one shared it. You know what I'm saying? So niggas gotta stop looking at it like, it's me being on a nigga's dick. A lot of this shit, like I tell niggas, if you wake up and you look at yourself like that, then that's how you feel. You know what I'm saying? That's not a feeling somebody put in you. Only you could feel like that. You on a nigga dick.
I went a whole year and a half, man, of just wearing black owned apparel. Even today, man, like this is black owned, man. It's not even from the United States.
Early.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's black owned. So it's like me personally, like, everybody, man, whether I wear your stuff or not, they get on my page. I'm going to spread the love. If you have a business and someone's like, who does the best flowers? I'm like, that person's black owned, man, or whatever. I don't know, even black owned. They like, those people are good people.
Real shit.
And I'm gonna tag you. You see what I'm saying? But I'm definitely gonna stick up for my black peoples thing. You know what I mean?
Motherfuckers gotta definitely start showing that love, man. And like, there's like a group of us that I could really say like, show that love. Ain't no bias shit. It ain't nothing. If you just good money, then you good money. Niggas gonna share it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel as a city, we all need to get on that page. You know what I'm saying?
We getting there. We getting there. We getting there. We getting there.
Got talent.
Boston got talent. Hashtag. I always post that. Before we get out of here, can you please tell them one more time where we can find your books? I know you have like 10,000 pages.
So I would suggest, man, just calling me, man. 617-356-2813. It's on my business cards. You can reach me on my Facebook page, Ricardo Williams. You could go visit my website, casualbusinessmoves.com. Also, GGL, man. Make sure you check out that, man.
Shout out GGL, man.
Fitness, man, in Boston, man. Nothing but love the family, man. So gangstergoinglegit.com. And, man, listen, man. I'm accessible, man, because I love my peoples, man. You call me, I pull up, man. You text me, you say anything, I'm going to respond to it.
Listen, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you was here with us. I really appreciate you. I'm not only saying that because he's from Boston, but you need to check out these books. When I say I ran through them, I'm going to say it again. I ran through them.
No bullshit. She like...
Two coming soon,
She was
man.
like 2 days in.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Crazy. That's what they all say. It's crazy.
Thank you, Deacon Kraft and Martin Luther 8. That's y'all new names right now. Because y'all was preaching up in this motherfucker. Shout out Pressure from F with a Rapper, Loaded Dice. You got anything you want to go out with?
Nah, you
Deacon
already
Kraft?
know. Shout out to everybody that's showing that love. You already know. Shout out to bro for coming through and fucking with us, turning up, you know what I'm saying? And showing that this shit more than rap, it's more than podcasts, more than authors. And this shit is about us all coming together. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell people, you got something to say, you got something you promoting, I fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? Like we ain't here to block nobody. We here to let everybody through.
Period. Listen, I love you guys. Hate you. Love you. Good night.
You dig?